we will have Joshua in our country in February. Then there is the big fight, one of the greatest fights
in the world. Like, you can't sit around and wait for Fury. The Usyk fight is not materializing, and I don't think any fans want to see that. So, in a way, this could be Joshua's final fight or final meaningful fight. It's going to happen in 5 weeks.
That there's a huge opportunity for enormous amounts of money to be generated around a fight that really has no integrity behind it in terms of as a fight, but in terms as a media spectacle and entertainment opportunity.
Turki Alalshikh has criticized Anthony Joshua for even thinking about fighting Jake Paul, calling it a questionable move. He also revealed that he is planning a major event for February, which will feature Joshua, though he didn't confirm who the opponent will be. Many fans suspect it might be Tyson Fury, but Alalshikh refused to give details. He also reminded everyone that Joshua already has a fight lined up for 2026, showing that there is long-term planning behind Joshua's future matchups.
And Anthony Joshua this year, do you think?
As a fan, of course, I want to see it.
Do you personally want to see it?
Yeah, as a fan, but you need first of all to be sure they are focusing. And
Eddie Hearn, who has managed Joshua for years, responded with both hope and caution. He says that any major decision about Joshua must fit within the plan he and Turki Alalshikh have been building. Hearn views Alalshikh as the main driving force behind today's biggest events, including the long-awaited Joshua vs. Tyson Fury fight. For him, every move Joshua makes should fit into a large, organized strategy, not be driven by online buzz or quick hype. While Hearn admits the Joshua vs. Jake Paul fight would bring big money, he says major business requires coordination and careful planning, not spur-of-the-moment decisions.
You know, I mean, when this fight was first mentioned by Jake Paul, I kind of laughed and thought that'd be nice, wouldn't it? And then, you know, meetings with His Excellency last week, who I think realises the commercial size of that fight and that opportunity. So if Jake Paul was mad enough to do it, I think Anthony would probably say yes as well and do everybody a favour and end it all, you know, for Mr. Paul in boxing. So, like I said, not really a fight we've been targeting, but if it's presented to us.
John Fury didn't hold back. He completely dismisses the idea that Jake Paul could beat Anthony Joshua in a real fight. He says the difference in size and strength is so big that if Paul somehow won, people would immediately question what really happened. Fury warns that Joshua hits far too hard, and that any strange outcome would damage the sport. His comments highlight a broader concern: boxing's reputation is delicate, and crossover fights must be handled responsibly or they risk harming the sport's credibility. Jamie O'Hara, known for being direct, also weighed in. He questions why Jake Paul should even be considered for a fight with Joshua. O'Hara says that while Paul has done well for a celebrity boxer, his achievements are nowhere near what is required to face a former heavyweight champion. To him, the idea of this matchup shows how clout, social media power, and entertainment value are being prioritized over skill and ranking. Chael Sonnen takes a different approach. He questions the legitimacy of the entire situation, saying the public hype exploded too fast without official confirmation from any governing bodies. Sonnen believes this reaction reflects modern media culture, where rumors spread instantly and people treat speculation as fact. He notes that Joshua has always represented professionalism, structure, and discipline. Jumping to a novelty-style fight does not match how Joshua has built his career. Sonnen's skepticism is aimed less at the fighters and more at a social environment that turns every rumor into a worldwide debate.
Oh, done, right? Isn't that what we were all told? And I had reached out to Jake directly, but he didn't get back to me. I did get a response, but it was like, you know the response where somebody's like buying some time, or they just want to acknowledge, like they give you a receipt. I'm in receipt of your text message. They can give you an emoji or something like this, or sometimes there's even the automatic. I'm trying to remember what I got, but you can get like the automatic. I'll call you later. You know those? So even though I had said, hey, I'm looking for a confirmation of this fight, and he did respond, as I reflect back on that, it's like, well, he didn't respond confirming the fight. So who did confirm the fight? So I went to Helwani, and Helwani thought that it was confirmed, but he was a little lighter in the language than what I thought I remember hearing. And there's a number of boxing guys just saying, hey, that's not going to happen. And they had a few details, one of which was being Florida. And the Florida Commission would probably be open to something like this, particularly under the clause of exhibition. And then we'd all have to kind of hear, well, what are those rules and what are those stipulations? But that's reasonable to work with. But we haven't been able to get a confirmation from the Florida Commission, and now we're actually getting boxing guys on the inner circle. We're hearing from some British guys, from some fellow comrades to Joshua that said he wouldn't do that fight. He just wouldn't do that fight. That people would lose respect for him. That he has carried British boxing. This was one guy talking, but the guy said that Joshua has carried British boxing for 2 decades. And that while carrying British boxing on his back, if he was to go over and do a spoof fight against a YouTuber, now I don't look at Jake Paul that way. I look at him as a badass. I understand how greatly he is outmatched. I understand the lack of experience in comparison to Joshua. Believe me, I get it. But I don't dismiss him as a YouTuber, right? Look at him as a guy that went to the distance with...
Tyron Woodley gives a more balanced perspective. He says confidence can be a dangerous weapon in any fight, and a determined fighter can always surprise people. Woodley warns Joshua not to overlook Jake Paul just because of the differences in size and experience. Joshua is expected to win easily, but Woodley reminds everyone that in combat sports anything can happen. Even in a mismatch, ignoring the unexpected is risky.
I mean, to be honest, when a fighter has belief in themselves, I never took Jake lightly. A lot of guys like, oh, he a YouTuber, he a Disney kid, but he does a good job of putting the smoke and mirrors up. He doesn't have anything limiting him from training, nutrition, training partners, coaches, and when you believe in yourself, and you're an athlete, and you can put those hours into the gym, that's a dangerous person to go against. And you look at Anthony, he may be taking them lightly, When you have somebody that's smaller than you, that's more agile than you and moving around, we don't know how Anthony's going to deal with that fight. Of course, with the boxing, the skill and experience has got to go with Joshua. But Jake
look what AJ done to Francis Ngannou, right? I'll put that to you. Do you not see that happening the same way with Jake Paul?
I mean, anybody can get caught with a punch. I got caught with a punch. Francis got hit with some shit, to be honest. So we didn't see a full fight. We didn't see, an exchange. We didn't see like we saw with Tyson Fury, where he, lasted most of the fight. So it's hard to judge off of that one. And they're such different fighters and such different.
Several boxing analysts are focused on the technical side, especially the major size difference between the two. Many believe the fight should be an exhibition for safety reasons. But early signs suggest it may be treated as a full professional contest with all standard rules in place. Analysts point out that important details, weight, gloves, rounds, officials, and other requirements, must be clearly defined in the contract. Treating such an uneven matchup as a serious pro fight has raised concerns among traditionalists who feel certain standards should never be compromised.
And I can't believe this is leaving my mouth. Anthony Joshua is going to be fighting Jake Paul. Now, this isn't even an exhibition bout. It's going to be on Netflix. It's going to be in Miami. It's going to be in December. And Jake Paul, if Anthony Joshua loses to Jake Paul, then that will not make any sort of sense whatsoever. Because on an athletic level, an experience level, a skill level, Anthony Joshua is several levels above Jake Paul. So surely this is going to be an exhibition bout. Surely this is going to be... There's surely going to be some shenanigans here. Because if Jake Paul gets into a real boxing match with Anthony Joshua, he's going to get absolutely destroyed. Like, there's no point in me... Like, I don't even need to break it down. What do you want me to break down here? And this is an easy payday for Anthony Joshua. And you know what? Fair play to him. People are going to criticise Anthony Joshua for fighting Jake Paul, but if he's really going to be fighting Jake Paul, which I don't think he is, then, bro, he can do whatever he wants to him. Literally. But then he just imagine... Oh, it's just crazy to think about. Fair play to Jake Paul, though, if this is a real boxing match. If I see exhibition attached to this, we'll know it's a sham. However, if I see that this is a real fight,